Today is Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July 10, 2026. Tonight Dhamma talk entitled is Can one attain the noble path inside through daily practice or through daily life? Can one attain the noble path inside? Can one attain the noble path inside means path fruition, realization of Nibbana. We can say, can one attain Nibbana through daily practice? So mindfulness amid the mundane means worldly or social life, worldly life. Mindfulness in worldly life, the path of Therika to spiritual liberation. So some questions arise. Some yogis, they are wondering this case, this factors, this reason or this case, because most our yogis are lay yogis, right? Lay people, likewise, female yogis, male yogis. These lay people are dwelling at home because they have a lot of responsibilities, they have a lot of duties in their life. They have to take care of their family, or they have to make their money, or they have to go to work, they have to go to school. There are many responsibilities, many duties in everyday life for lay people. Lay people means laymen, lay women. So that's why some people they are wondering how lay people, laymen, lay women can attain path fruition, Nibbana or Magga-phala. Why they are dwelling at home, how they can attain Magga-phala, Nibbana. So this is the question. Some people they wonder about that question. In the time of the Buddha's time, we Buddhists know the Savatthi town. So where the Buddha resided for 25 years at Jetavana monastery. This monastery located nearby Savatthi town. So every evening like that, about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, Buddha always deliver discourse, sermon, Dhamma talk at Jetavana monastery. So people who dwell in Savatthi town, they work their professional job, taking care of family, they carry on their duty, responsibility the whole day. After their official work off time about 4 p.m. So after completing their daily professional work, so they rush to Jetavana monastery because every day Buddha delivering Dhamma discourse, Dhamma talk. Nowadays we are addressing like Dhamma talk. Buddha giving discourse every day, evening every evening. So people they rush to Jitavana monastery. They listen to the Dhamma what the Buddha taught. So after listening to the Dhamma means likewise external condition, what we are talking about a topic. Listening to the Dhamma from the Buddha, this is external condition, what they are learning or studying from Buddha as theoretically. So after that, the devotees, they applying their understanding Dhamma. Applying means they are practice meditation. They are applying in their own body what our noble yogis are practicing, likewise sitting meditation, walking meditation, and daily mindfulness meditation. They are blind, likewise. Go occasionally, because they are lay people, right? They are lay people, laymen, laywomen. They have to work. They have to take care of their family. They have not much time to apply the Dhamma, what the Buddha taught, as practically. That limited time, as they learn from the Buddha, they applying me meditating on their own body. Buddha's time, people or likewise Buddhists or devotees who believe in the Buddha. So after listening the Dhamma from the Buddha, at home or at their work, their workplace, or some are working playground, some are working office, some are working in their palace, or some are working business, shop, different shops. So when they talk, conversation, most people they are talking about Dhamma. Even daily life, they discussion Dhamma. Their conversation, most people's conversation are related what Buddha taught Dhamma about meditation, especially what is Kanupassana Satipatthana, what is Vedananupassana Satipatthana, what is Chittanupassana Satipatthana, what is Dhammanupassana Satipatthana, body, contemplation of the body, contemplation of the feeling, contemplation of the mind, consciousness, contemplation of mind object. So they discuss even at work or workplace, in the forest, or where they are plugging or background like this. So that's why let us say Southeast down population, let us say for example, right? Population, let us say for example, 10 million population, among 10 million population of people, so 70% of population is noble people, noble person, Arya, noble people. 70% of population become noblehood, noble person. So 10 million, 70%. How many population? 700, right? 700,000. 700,000 people are become noble people. How many remaining? Only 30% remaining. So 300,000 are noble, just ordinary people. So 70% are become noble people. So only 30% population remains as ordinary one. So 70% people population have become noble. Noble person means noble Sotapanna, noble Sakadagami, noble Anagami. But noble Arhanta also, but rare people become rare person become noble Arhat. Most of noble persons are 3 levels of noble stages: noble Sotapanna, noble Sakadagami, noble Anagami. After becoming noble Arhat, so one cannot stay at home or cannot stay with family. So such as people who already attained noble Arhat immediately switch to ordination, for men as a monk, for women as bhikkhuni nun. So they have to change their position from layman to manhood, or laywoman to bhikkhuni or nunhood. They immediately switch, change position. Otherwise, during 1 week they will pass away for noble Arhat. That's why most of population are become as noble Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, but few people attain Nibbana. Mostly they become monk and nun. So we have another. There are many stories, but one of story, a very wonderful story here. There lived a woman named Therika. Her name is Therika. A woman named Therika, whose life served as a profound inspiration for lay people. Lay people means family, housewife. She is housewife. Her story demonstrates that the responsibilities of family life are not an obstacle to spiritual weekend, provide one maintains mindfulness. So this is a woman named Therika. She is housewife. She has family. Although she dwelling at home, she has to do many responsibilities or duty for her family members. So she always take time to apply meditation means mindfulness, daily life. So as lay people, laymen or laywomen, everyday life very busy, a lot of duties, responsibility. That's why lay people cannot meditate what you are practicing here in this retreat. You don't have any responsibility or duty. That's why from early morning to late night, so male yogi, monks, male yogis, female yogis, nuns, they can focus meditation, sitting meditation, walking meditation, daily mindfulness meditation. Even you are using toilet, restroom, so yogis observing the movement of what you are doing, or likewise taking shower, or washing your face, or washing your clothes, so on. So you are observing mindfully the actions, activities, or daily mindfulness meditation. When you go home, you go back, you are home. So you may not apply, you may not do like this, you may not practice what you are practicing, following schedule timetable from early morning to late night, what you are or practicing in meditation center during intensive retreat, you should not compare. So at home, you just mindful occasionally, not all time, occasionally. You have to be mindful, applying mindfulness, practice meditation with mindfully. So here, or what? People who dwelling at Saudi town, right? They have to do many tasks, many duties, many responsibilities. They have limited time to meditate at home. So our yogis also similar applying. You have a lot of duties, a lot of responsibility. So you have limited time to meditate at home. Maybe you meditate once a day or 50 minutes, half an hour. It's okay. But daily life, what you are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, or some activity, action, or during cooking, or during cleaning floor or the house, or even during driving motor car or motorbike. So you can apply your mindfulness occasionally, no consistently. I don't mean occasionally. So this is practicing daily life. So this Terika, even though she is a housewife, but she applying like this, her meditation, mindfulness meditation at home. Terika was born into a wealthy family. Was from a rich family, right? In the city of Vaisali. She's not Saudi. She's born Vaisali. Upon reaching adulthood, she married and embraced the life of a dedicated lay woman. She was known for balancing. So our yogi must recognize, must remember about that. She was known for balancing her domestic responsibilities with a deep devotion to the Buddha's teaching. Balancing, how she balanced? She has to work, household work, at the family duty, responsibility, other things to do, many things. Living women life, not easy. So very busy the whole day. But she can make balancing. She was known for balancing her domestic responsibilities with a deep devotion to the Buddha's teaching. So how she balanced? She rushed her duties to accomplish, to finish early. After that, whenever she have time or attending discourse, whenever possible, attending discourse, what the Buddha taught, discourse, listening to Dhamma, what the Buddha taught. This is only rare time because Buddha lived Jedhavana monastery most of the time. Only sometime visiting rural area, sometime Buddha visit Rajagha or Vaisali, sometime visit Varanasi like that. So that time, this lady, Terika, attending this court whenever possible. So it's very rare, not much chance, opportunity to listen what the Buddha taught, Dhamma. But she can make balance between household work, the responsibility, domestic responsibility, and Buddha teaching. One day, when Terika was in the kitchen, boiling rice. cooking rice, right? Boiling rice for her family. A common household occurrence became the occasion for her enlightenment. So, as the rice water began to boil, it bubbled, some bubbled up to the brim of the pot. The brim of the pot. And then eventually subside, come after likewise bubble come out because boiling, the rice boiling, some bubble come out and the brim of the pot and eventually subside, comes and settles back down. So this is what Theriga observing the rice ball. So when she saw bubble up to brim of the pot and then eventually subside or come and settle back down, that moment she mindfully observed that condition, that object of cooking pot. So instead of seeing this as a mere kitchen go mean household work, usually every ladies or women they cook, right? This is just common work, kitchen go, as a mere kitchen go, as a mere household work. She turn her attention in what? She applying the lens of vipassana inside to the phenomenon. So this is just common work, household work, cooking, rice. So what she see, bubble come up and come down again. So this is just arise and pass. This is object is cooking pot, right? Rice pot, boiling pot. So her objects, external object. So she applying meditation, satipatthana. So how the bubble arise up and come down again. So this is just arise, just pass. She applying her own body. When she saw the rising pot, the boiling pot, rice pot, boiling rice pot. So she applying mindfulness meditation and applying observe herself phenomena also similar applying just right, just pass. So in this way, she applying mindfulness meditation while she is cooking rice. She contemplated the nature of anicca, impermanence. So while looking at the boiling rice ball, she contemplated the nature of anicca, impermanence. She realized that just as the bubble in the rice water arise and vanish, bubble arise, just arise, she saw, just vanish means just come down, rise up. So every our female yogi, they has experience, right? When you cook rice, so you will see some bubble up, so immediately come down. When you open the cover, so sometimes we have to open the cover, right? Bubble too much overloading, so we have to open the covers, so that bubble come down slowly. So she looking at that condition. So as she applying as anicca nature, impermanent nature, she realized that just as the bubble and the rice water arise and vanish, the physical and mental phenomena of her own body are in a constant state of flux continually rising and passing away. So applying our own body, the body also what we are observing physical phenomena, what we are observing mental phenomena, mind and body. These physical and mental phenomena also just arise, just pass continuously, rising and passing away. So what? Terika realizing herself at that moment. Sitting there right there by the cooking board. So because she's inside the kitchen, right? Sitting there right there by the cooking pot. Her concentration deepened by observing the rise and fall of phenomena with intense mindfulness. She successfully uprooted the factors of kamaraga, sensual desire, and vyabhada, away, anger. At that moment, she attained the state of anagami. So, anagami noble arhat, eradicated, uprooted, eliminated, or eradicated, uprooted the factors of kamaraga, sensual desire, and vyabhada, away or anger. So whoever already attained anagami, so that noble person does not have sensual desire, right? No attachment, no craving, no sensual desire. So no away or anger. So noble anagami uprooted or eradicated two factors. So sensual desire and anger. So lobha and dosa, right? So noble sakadagami, noble sotapanna and noble sakadagami, they three have lobha, dosa, moha. Every mode defilement remain. So we have to know lower two stages, noble sotapanna and noble sakadagami eradicated three factors. So noble anagami eradicated or eliminated two factors, what we are talking about, sensual desire and anger. At that moment, she attained the stage of anagami, the third stage of enlightenment. Although she continued to live as a householder for a period, her mind was entirely free from worldly attachment and emotional disturbances. So worldly attachment means freedom from desire or craving. Emotional disturbance means so freedom from anger, ill will, or aversion, dosa. Recognizing her spiritual progress. Recognizing her spiritual progress, she eventually sought permission from her husband to join the order of nuns, bhikkhunis. Under the direct guidance of the Buddha, she continued her meditation practice and soon attained arhatship, the final stage of liberation, becoming a full enlightened being. So, please consider about Terika, housewife, householder. So, why she cooking rice? So she applying anicca nature, impermanent nature of the bubble arise and come down. In this way, she applying her own body phenomena, physical, mental phenomena, just arise, just pass, just appear, just disappear. So in this way, she immediately began noble anagami. So after becoming noble anagami, she freedom from sensual desire, no attachment. She also freedom from anger, no dosa, no hatred, no aversion. So, in this way, it's not much easier to dwell in at home, right? Household life. Because household life, they are family members, she has husband or children, or likewise her grandparents, likewise in-laws, her in-laws or relatives, because she does not have desire or anger. So she has to order as a nun or bhikkhuni temple. So, as a Nagami state, if laymen or laywomen who have family members, they can stay at home, family life, but if they have spouse or their partners, they will concern their partners as their brothers and sisters. They were not concerned as their spouse, their husband, their wife. Instead, they were concerned brother or sister. In this way, they were continuously dwelling at home. Otherwise, they immediately rush to monastery, become monk or become a nun or bhikkhuni. This is naturally happening like that, as the Dhamma nature. Noble yogis, you may wonder how Thirika, this housewife, directly attain third state of Nagami path to Shen. This is third level, right? Third state of noblehood. So what about the other lower two levels, Noble Sotapanna, Noble Sakadagami? So how Thirika related or experience the lower two noble path, noblehood, Noble Sotapanna, Noble Sakadagami. So this noble path we cannot cross. We cannot skip. So likewise, even our vipassana insight knowledge, we cannot skip. We cannot cross. We must move straight by straight. So we cannot skip. Must start Namarupa Paricheda until region Sangarupaka Anuloma Gudrupu. Step by step. Likewise, noble people also cannot skip. Whoever attain noblehood or pass, they have to experience, they enter stream entara, Noble Sotapanna. Only after becoming Noble Sotapanna, then noble person will promote as Noble Sakadagami. After the Noble Anagami as Thirika now. So that's why you may wonder, Thirika came Noble Sotapanna and Sakadagami. Yes, first she immediately experienced Noble Sotapanna and immediately promote Noble Sakadagami and immediately Noble Anagami. Three levels at the same time together. That moment, while she cooking rice near the rice bowl. So three stages. Immediately, one after another, she experienced. So she read first, she experienced first Noble Sotapanna and Noble Sakadagami, immediately Noble Anagami. So to attain Noble Sotapanna and Noble Sakadagami, Thirika had to eradicate or eliminate that three factors. To be our yogi also similar applying. To attain Noble Sotapanna or Noble Sakadagami yogi, you have to eradicate, you have to eliminate three factors. What's three factors? Sakadati, Vichikiccha, Silabbata Brahmasa. These three are all three are round view. So these three round view must be eliminated, eradicated to attain Noble Sotapanna who, Noble Sakaragami who, two level. So these Noble Sotapanna and Noble Sakaragami eradicated three factors. So to be Noble Anagami as Terika, she has to eradicate another two more factors. Just now we mentioned, we talk about Kama Chanda and Vyabhada or craving and anger, Lova and Dosa, craving and anger. So two factors. He must eradicate two factors. After eradicating, eliminating these craving and anger, so she began Noble Anagami. So she already eradicated the lower two noble state. Likewise, she eradicated Sakadeti, Vijigaicha, Silapada Brahmasa. These three factors eradicated or eliminated by Noble Sotapanna and Noble Sakadagami. So the round view means what we are trying to eradicate. This is I am, this is mine, this is my ego, this is person, this is man, this is woman. Concept, conventional concept. What we are recognizing conventional concept as recognizing as misconception. This is the conventional concept. Labeling, saying, name, all are concept. So if we are staying just concept, we still have wrong view. If we clearly perceive what is mind, what is body, what is nama, what is rupa, this is physical form, this is mental phenomena. Within ourselves, only two phenomena, mind and matter. Not any other man, woman, person. So these are just concepts, just labeling, saying, name, concept alone. This is not ultimate reality, but this concept reality, but not ultimate, not absolute reality. Absolute reality is physical and mental phenomena alone. In this way, we are eradicating. If you experience distinguish between mind and matter, nama rupa pariccheda, so this insight knowledge is yogi starting your insight knowledge by eradicating this wrong view. So after the yogi will experience Pajja Parikha Jnana, the inside knowledge of discerning cause and condition, discerning cause and effect. After that, Samasana Jnana, yogi investigative inside knowledge of anicca nature, impermanent nature of physical and mental phenomena, unsatisfactory nature of physical and mental phenomena, non-self nature of physical and mental phenomena. This is just investigation about this mind, matter, this body and mind. This is Samasana Jnana. So these basic jnana, inside knowledges are, we are engaging, we are just beginning to understand mind, matter. This mind, first we understand what's mind, what's matter. After that we understand this mind and matter not happening, not arise itself, not arise, not happening automatically. This mind and matter arising or happening depend on cause and condition. This mind and matter or impermanent nature or suffering nature, non-self nature. So all principle factors in our body and mind. Mind matter. Our yogi must clearly understand. The principal one is mind matter. So this is ultimate reality. If you understand that, you are begin to eradicate a wrong view. So if you understand, if you experience second people's inside knowledge, likewise the inside knowledge of designing cause and condition, cause and effect. So the cause and effect, not any other thing. What our yogi is observing, your intention. Before living, yogi know going to live. Only after that, your food live. Before moving, your leg, yogi know going to move. Only after that, your leg, your feet moving like that. So yogi start observe intention path. This is the second people science knowledge. Pajabrika, cause and effect. If you understand this level, this insight, so yogi eradicated doubt, doubt. So we have to eradicate three factors, right? Deity, Sagadeti, Vichikecha. Sagadeti means wrong view, Vichikecha means doubt. Doubt also wrong view. Talk about preparation, what you are using method, you talk, sometimes you even yourself doubt, I may not gain enlightenment this life, so you give up. This is the related talk. Never give up. Move forward. Even here, housewife, Terika, can gain enlightenment as another third of Nagami state. So don't give up. So you have opportunity, chance to gain enlightenment. So if you give up, that's mean related doubt. So another wrong view is Silabda Brahmasa. Silabda Brahmasa means attachment to wrong method. We can briefly understand. Attachment to wrong method. What the Buddha said, to attain Noble Sotapanna, Noble who. Only the right path. The right path is only the Eightfold Noble Path. Right view, right thought. I always repeatedly explain about that. Right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. This Eightfold Path, only the path to reach Nibbana, to gain Noble Sotapanna, to attain Noble Sakadagami and Nagami Arhata. Not any other path. So some people they are believing another path. Likewise, praying, Guanyin, or praying Deva. So in this way, I can gain enlightenment, Nibbana. This is me, that wrong view, Silabda Brahmasa. That means only the Eightfold Path. This Eightfold Path, what our yogis developing meditation, only this Eightfold Path is the right path. To reach Nibbana, to attain enlightenment, path, fruition, realization of Nibbana. Not any other path. Any other path are wrong path, not right path. So we believe so, but here yogi say, I believe you believe so. Only the Eightfold Noble Path, right path. The other paths are wrong path. Other ways are wrong way, wrong path. So these three, after eradicating, eliminating, uprooted, eliminated these three. So the yogi began Noble Sotapanna. To be Noble Sotapanna, not many factors to eradicate. Only three. Second, wrong view, doubt, and wrong path. You must avoid. You must fulfill right view. Right view, your confidence, what you are practicing meditation, confident to the tradition, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and the method what you are practicing, confident yourself, and you have to reach on the path, right path. Right path. Right path means the Eightfold Noble Path, what you are developing currently. So in this way, our yogis, you have opportunity to attain Noble Sotapanna, Sakaragami, Nagami, so on. So, although you are understanding Namarupa Brichira, Pajabriga, Samatsana, or Uriyabhaya like this, so you are inside knowledge, not yet reaching mature level. So after experience Namarupa Brichira is the Pajabriga. So after gaining these two inside knowledge, yogi, you already became Chula Sotapanna. Chula means junior Sotapanna, not senior one. Senior Sotapanna means who already eliminated three factors: wrong view, or likewise a septic thought, and attachment to wrong path. So Noble Sotapanna already totally uprooted these three factors. But Namarupa Brichira Jnana, Pajabriga Jnana, what our yogi experience now. This is experience, but you not yet reach mature level. After experiencing these two levels, so that yogi is addressed, called Noble Chula Sotapanna. Sula means junior, small one, Sotapanna. This junior Sotapanna guarantee for only one accident, not to fall down the forearm, likewise lower plane, lower land, likewise hair, animal kingdom, or demon, or likewise ghost. So, whoever already attained Chula Sotapanna, junior Sotapanna, that person will not fall down the lower plane. That Chula Sotapanna will reborn as a human being and heavenly deva for one life, one incident. But for Noble Sotapanna, senior Sotapanna, Mahasotapanna, after attainment Noble Sotapanna, that noble person, guarantee do not fall down the full lower plane. Guarantee for guarantee do accident to born as a human being or heavenly deva for 7 life. So the last seven life. That Noble Sotapanna surely promote the remaining 3 Noble Sakaragami, Noble Anagami, Noble Arhat. So this is the difference between Chula Sotapanna and Mahasotapanna, junior Sotapanna and senior Sotapanna. So Noble Sakaragami also eradicate the same factors. Or wrong view, septic thought, Silapta Parama, the wrong path. So just, what can I say, cross some defilement. So after attainment of Noble Anagami, likewise, Theriga, as today's story, that woman who householder or housewife, she attained Noble Anagamihood. She eliminated 2 more factors. There are 10 factors. We have to become Noble Arhat. We need to eradicate, to eliminate 10 factors. And this Noble Nagami, 5 factors. Noble Sotapanna, Noble Sakaragami eliminated 3 factors, right? Sakaredi, Vijigitsa, Silapra Paramasa, or Noble Sotapanna and Noble Sakaragami. For Noble Anagami, another 2 factors, which means that Kamaraga, Pyabada, or craving and anger. So Noble Anagami eradicated 5 factors. So the remaining 5 factors were totally eliminated by Noble Arhat. So we don't have time to talk about the remaining private factors by eradicating by Noble Arhat, right? Just understand. To become Noble Arhat, we have to eradicate 10 factors. For Noble Sotapanna and Sakaragami 3, Noble Anagami 5, 2 more craving anger, plus 3, 5, right? May all yogi attain the highest vipassana insight. May all yogi attain enlightenment, path, fruition, realization of Nibbana.